All right, thank you very much. So, in the continuation of this online expert talk under the aegis of the IQAC of ISFCP, I am feeling privileged to introduce Dr. Neeraj Kumar. Welcome, sir.
Thank
Dr. Neeraj Kumar has a rich experience of more than 15 years in the field of the clinical research in various companies. Presently, Dr. Neeraj is working as a senior general manager in the clinical research operation of Datt Mediproduct Pvt Ltd, New Delhi. He is also associated with several pharmaceutical associations in various positions like the IPA, the Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Delhi State Branch, as the Honorable Secretary. He is also serving as a Joint Secretary of the Association of the Regulatory Affairs and the Professionals. He is also serving as an executive member of the Human Ethical Committee Association, member secretary of the Good Society for the Ethical Research, and independent ethics committee registered as chairperson, Society for the Research and Welfare, and independent ethical committee. Dr. Neeraj Kumar is also certified GCP professional from the CDSA and the lead auditor of the ISO. So this is the wide expertise of the Dr. Neeraj, and I'm expecting that today talk will be more specifically on the clinical research regulation, and that will be very beneficial to all students who are willing to join the clinical research area for their professional growth. So, Dr. Neeraj, now over to you. Please start your talk.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Nitin, and hope that my skin is visible to you all.
Yes, sir, this is visible.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nitin, and thank you, sir, for providing me opportunity to share my view with a student of Moga College of Pharmacy,
Dr.
which
Neeraj
is
ji, voice is breaking.
now it's audible to you, sir.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. So, as my
Now,
talk is on the clinical research, so and all students from College of Pharmacy belong to the pharmacy, and they are doing their bachelor degree and master degree in different field of pharmacy, which include the pharmaceutics, pharmacology, pharmacognosy, etc. They are aware. So ultimately comes the question: what do the pharmacists? So after completion their education, they may go to the various sectors which include the development of the new medicine, that is a R&D manager or scientist member there, or maybe enter into the supply medicine as a role of medical representative, where they can be interacting the day to day with doctors and hospitals and supply the medicine and also provide about uh, their advice over the medicines and also offer their services in the various health sectors. So this is the most common answer which is come from the student, but the pharmacy exists beyond this also. So in broad way, when we classify the job profile or job opportunity in the pharmacy, this can show a brief idea where the pharmacist can go as a routine practice, where they can be served for the community as a community pharmacist, clinical as a clinical pharmacy, and also in a hospital pharmacy. But when they are preferred to industry, they can go to various aspects of manufacturing, from starting from production to the regulatory aspect. Different aspect is there, that is related to R&D, formulation development, then packaging, their quality control, quality assurance, packaging, etc. And a part of the manufacturing, there is other several branch which include the academic, regulatory. In academic, that is most common, which is reflecting at your campus, that the your seniors and a faculty member work for the research and teaching facility. In regulatory, they are, if they do, they compliance with the regulatory requirement which will be stated by the state government or central government. And a part of there is a one more significant field which will be governed by the medical representative or healthcare profession, that is a clinical research. So today's talk is mainly focused on this area from the clinical side. As I am also from the pharmacy bureau background, I have completed my pharmacy from the Jamia Hamdard in collaboration with DRDO. So as a background, I am from the pharmaceutics, but now from last 15 years, I am taking for the clinical research at various roles in various industry till date. So it's related to, because before we go to the clinical research, I just give some idea about the pharmaceutical industries. So in the India, pharmaceutical industry is one of the fastest growing, which is well known, and everyone know that the from last few decades it is really significantly grow in per capita or the industrial worth we are talking. So at present, pharmaceutical industry in India having a value of more than $50 billion, and industry is be growing in a such a way, and we are expecting that in next year or by the next year we will reach the 65 billion market in India itself in the pharmaceutical sector. And if we are talking about the various sector and comparing with the various sectors, so India is a major exporter of pharmaceutical, and which export more than 200 countries there, or in-house built manufacturing units in the form of tablet, capsules, or vaccines. So we proudly say that the out of uh, 50% demand of Africa is the only fulfilled by the ours Indian pharmaceutical industry. And when we are talking about the developed countries just like US and Canada, UK, where the almost 40% generic demand is fulfilled by the Indian pharma sectors, and 25% all medicine in UK which is used is from the Indian manufacturers. So we can say that we are the leaders in the pharmaceutical industry. And it's occur, or we achieve this due to the continuous support which is provided by the our pharmacists. In account of the, when we are talking about the vaccines, so we can say proudly say that the more than the 60% global vaccine demand is fulfilled by the Indian pharmaceutical sector, and we are the leaders in the supply of the DPT, BCG, and measles vaccines. And almost 70% in vaccine which is be supplied by the WHO to various countries is belong to the India itself. So BCG program is be whatever be taken care by the WHO throughout the world is be completed, or India provide a very good support in that sector uh, to complete the dreams of planning of the WHO in respect of immunization schedules. So, as we are the leaders in the pharmaceutical. How we become a leader in pharmaceutical? So we can say that we are leader in a pharmaceutical by improving our clinical research. We are excellent in clinical research. Our data is be accepted by the globally in developed countries just like US, Canada, and European country as well, and also by the underdevelopment countries. So there is a huge market of clinical research. Which is globally and in Indian perspective, we are growing parallelly to the pharmaceutical sector. If we are talking about the clinical research market, the global clinical market is was estimated to be worth of $49.8 billion in 2022, and right now it's reached to the $52.7 billion in 23, and expecting it to be growing with a rate of 5.4 in US market. And we can say the maximum number of pharmaceutical, biopharmaceutical, medical device company continue make a large investment in the field of manufacturing, and according to that, our clinical research will also grow. So this is figure is related to the global market, but when we are talking about the Indian markets, so we can say that we are contributor almost 10% of global markets. So as per the current market value, Indian clinical trials market size is we valued about the $1.8 billion in 2020, and at present in 21 it's reached to 1.98. So according to that, we can say that our market is growing in the clinical research with a rate of 8.2%. So it's include all interventional trials, observational, and expanded the assisted trials. So by this growth, we can say that by the end of 2030, we will reach around $3.8 billion market in India. So it's occur due to the globalization of clinical trial, adaptation of new technology in clinical research, and growing the disease variation in India and prevalence, and increase the research and development promoting outsources are the key factors which estimate to drive the market. According to this sentence, we have a lots of opportunity to perform the clinical research in India, which contribute to become a world healthier. So why the clinical research in India? So why it is an important or emerging field in the India? At present, we have a more than 400 CROs, that is a clinical research organization in India, which is working in various sectors, and they do very excellent work. At present in India, we have a pharma company in which having their own clinical research department in their wings is around 150. So all major companies, just like a Sun Pharma, Clintha, and whatever the name you say, they have their own clinical research department. So in the clinical trial, approximately if we go with the CDSCO data, it's clearly indicate every year almost 10 to 200 clinical studies be approved by them, and they are be initiated in India, and they are belong to various phase 1 to phase 4 trials. I will come to the this slide what do mean by the phase 1 and phase 4 in my upcoming slides. So apart of the this phase 1 to phase 4 trial, there is one more sector in clinical trial which is termed as a bioclinical study. Bioclinical studies is a sector where we compare the our formulation with a reference formulation, said that they are the bioclinics in nature. They show the similar result when we are consuming this as a reference product. So according to bioclinic study, we can produce the cost effective drugs in a smaller number of time span and provide a very good quality over that. And when we are talking about the preclinical and toxicological studies, that is reach around to 1500 to 2000 studies per year. So this side already discussed where it is in this stated that the what type of clinical studies be performed in clinical sector, that is a preclinical BA study, clinical trial and pharmacovigilance and data management. Data management is also having lots of opportunity in respect of to collecting the data, analyzing the data from the patient, and show the drugs safety and efficacy for their approval and marketing authorizations. So why the India is a choice? As we say that we are almost 10% of the market value in clinical research. So there is a lots of factors we affect uh, play important roles in which India is doing very well, according into which lots of the international companies and multinational companies are coming, and their choice of clinical trial center is India. These factors is including the our fast and or effective regulatory system which provide the approval in very speedy manners, and they will take a small times and analyzing and put the study protocol and give the protocol approval in time frame manners. Also we have a wide range of gene pool advantage, so also having lots of variability, so we can do the lots of research in various number of the population in various category of the disease. We have a larger and faster growing talent and resource pools. As in respect of manpower, we have a experienced manpower and qualified manpower, and also we having world class infrastructure hospital which is ready to participate or are participating in the clinical industry to share their research experience with market. And also 30 to 50% of overall costing advantage undertaking the drug trials. If we are saying that the any trial happen in US, and so in India total costing is come to be about 30% and only 50%. So we will at India provide the trials in very cost effective manner, and our data quality is well acceptable and by the all regulatory body throughout the world. And also due to the large number of population, large number of spreading throughout the various climate zones, so we have a wide range of disease are prevalent in India. So there is opportunity to do the lots of clinical studies at various stages with on various patients with different disease pools. And also our ethics is very strong. We have a strong guidelines in the form of NDCT rules, Indian GCP, and they are meeting the world standard throughout the. And also in India, we have a very good patent attorney. So every research, if they want to protect, so in the form of intellectual property protection, they will protect their research and can get royalty after finalization. And growth of global clinical research sector also benefited from the Indian patient and having the R&D initiative. Lots of R&D initiative taken care in India. So best example of this is COVID vaccine. So we can say that we are the first developing country who launched their own COVID vaccine very small number of times and with a very good data, large effective data. So these are the key players who are the actively involved in the clinical research and build the clinical sector in India. So some of name is the just reflecting in your skin, Sinos, IQVIA, Praxel, Icon, etc., who having the global presence and also some having the regional player just like the EPS, CIMIC, Klantha Research, Novotex, Hygiene, etc. So when we are talking in respect of the CRO presence, so lots of CRO who work in India having the global presence, and a part of this there is a limited CRO we having the presence in India as well as limited number of countries. So till date, till this slide, we have understand the market of the clinical research. So here, pharmacy, what can they do? What the opportunity they? What working area is there where the pharmacy can actively involve in, and give their contribution in clinical research. So as per the active contribution, they can work on the administrative sector, business development, medical writing, and pharmacy management apart from the clinical operations, and also doing the clinical control and QA, biostatus, data management, site management, investigator, nurse, coordinator, research assistant, clinical pharmacy. So these are the sector where the pharmacy student can give their contribution to do the clinical research and having the various position starting from executive level to the director and HOD level. So they can show their capability and experience. They be grow in the field of clinical research from the executive level, senior executive, then research assistant, followed by the CRA, senior CRA, research scientist, assistant manager, deputy manager, etc. And finally, they can lead the clinical operation in the industry where they are working. So why the India is a resource advantage? So as per talking, we have a very good pool of investigator, large number of the qualified doctors available in India who are the medically trained and very fluent in English. So their practice be accepted by the throughout the world. Till date, we have more than the 6 lakh English-speaking physicians, PG training students, which is being approved as per the mark of Europe and US standard, and also treat the protocol in a line as per the West requirement or US FDA requirements. And large number of uh, investigator are the ICA-GCP compliance or qualified or trained investigators. So in the patient population we are talking, so we having a large number of diversifying the therapy area, having the advantage of 6 to 7 generic variety within India itself, and large number of patient pool, acute and chronic segment patient is also available, and we can include the life cycle disorder and the other type of deformities related to the treatment, related to the disease, all available, all type of patient is available. So and a part of the these, we having a very good clinical research in infrastructure. When we are talking about the infrastructure, it is related to the medical college, number of the medical graduate per year, hospital and scientific member engineers working throughout the, so well established clinical infrastructure we having, and also having the IT support is at par and meeting with the world standard. We having a high developed IT or ITians and motivated and committed personnel, and also well internet connectivity with high speed, which is be required for the data transfer. So also we are standing along with the world in the field of digital connectivity. We are one of them top 5 where the digital consultation is there. So all of this and a part of the what the regulatory doing in India to promote the regulatory guidelines. So prior to that, we have just go through the our previous back through that the why the guidelines is required in the study. In the recent part, there is a loss of TJD occurs in respect of Turkish sulfonamide diesters, and thalidomide diesters occur in a part where we come to knowledge that the whenever the drug launch in world or marketed in for the sake of the humans or human beings, they will be must qualified on background of safety and efficacy. ठीक है safety and once they qualified for safety and efficacy, then they can be promoted. So these are the some milestones or the when some actors in in lights or these acts be effective or various rule and regulations occurs. So when we are talking about a Indian scenario, ICMR issued the guidelines related to ethics in 1980. In 1996, ICH issued their guidelines for clinical trial, and ICMR developed regularly or update their guidelines for the field of clinical research. And also, CDSCO released the Indian GCP guidelines in 2001. And after 2001, we have well established Schedule Y in 2005, which provide the opportunity to work the clinical research on human beings in India. In 2006, ICMR guidelines is be updated, and again ICH develop or update their guidelines in 2016. In India, 2009 new rules is coming under the Drug and Cosmetic Act, that is a new drug clinical trial rule 2009, which will be effective right now for the new drugs and pharma. And for the medical device, CDSCO issued the guidelines and rules in 2017, that is in the form of medical device rules. So these are the some guidelines starting from 1980s to till date, which is be issued by the ICMR to strengthen the clinical research in the ethical aspect in India. So they commonly use the following section, which is related to the general principle of clinical research, ethical issue, responsible conduct of research, ethics review procedure, what are the informed consent procedure, vulnerability there, clinical trial drug and other interventions, and public research, social and behavioral research on human beings, human genetic testing and research, and biological material, biobanking and data sets, and research in human. These are the different sections available in ICMR guidelines and which give a strong background to how to perform the clinical research on human beings in India. A part of this, they also issue the guidelines on the recent challenging sector that is related to the regulation of uh, ART in clinics in India, that is related to the child is research on the clinical research on the childs. And also the ICA DABT issued the guidelines for stem cell therapy in 2006. And CDSCO issued the guidelines related to the GCP, that is a good clinical practice, and it's stringent and equal to ICH E6R2. So when we are talking about the clinical research, we are be compliant with the GCP principles. And when we are talking about the GCP in respect of Indian scenario, they contain the essentiality that the everyone is be qualified by GCP in good clinical practice, and all the patients who participated in the study must be volunteered and sign the informed consent and the community agreement. So during the study, we have to focus on that. There is no exploitation of participant. We are not forcing them. We are not exploiting them to participate in the particular clinical study, and be ensuring that the privacy and confidentiality of participant is be kept throughout the study and even after that. And we have to take a action and minimize the risks associated with study procedures. And when we all study member are the professional competence with their qualification and experience in the field of clinical research, and everything is accountable and transparent in Indian scenario related to the clinical research, and also the maximize the public interest and distribute the justice to the patient who participate in the study. And also the institution arrangement is there, and so that the institution must be equally responsible to conduct the research. If anything occur illegally, so the institution also responsible for that. And also all result, either in the form of failure, in the form of success, must be reported on the public domain. It's a totally responsibility for all stakeholders. When we are talking about the stakeholder in clinical research, he or she will be from the sponsor side, from the ethics background side, from the regulatory background, and also from investigator and institutional. All is there, and they must be compliant with the GCP requirements. So these are the slides. So the role and responsibility of each stakeholder. Sponsor CRO must have planned the trial and allocate the study to the site, and data monitoring and management be taken care by them, ensuring the compliance with GCP and applicable regulatory guidelines, and publish the trial result. But when we are talking about the investigator, study conduct must be enroll the study subject as per the eligibility criteria, and must provide the medical care to the study subject as per their right, and ensuring the compliance with GCP and applicable regulatory guidelines, so that the all stakes, all right of the patient keep reserved or may be respected. And when we are talking about the ET, that is the ethics committee, so trial permission, or it must be approved by the ethics committee prior enrollment of the patient in the study, and also review the trial progress throughout the study and submit the update to the ethics committee, or review the uh, updates submitted by the investigator to them in a routine manner, and ensuring the compliance of GCP and applicable regulatory guidelines occur or taken care by the investigator throughout the study, and as and when required they can do the inspection of investigator and investigator side to check the compliance with GCP and regulatory. So when we are talking about the regulatory, that is a DCGI or CDSCO, who provide the clinical trial for new drugs and provide the approval, they also review and give the approval to conduct the study, and also review the trial progress submitted to them, and analyze the any EA or SA occur, and they can terminate or suspend the trial if there is a continuation reporting of serious adverse event, ensuring the compliance with GCP applicable regulatory guidelines, and also inspect the CRO, investigator, ethics committee, or review board as and when required, as per the study or as per the regulatory or complaint they receive. And the patient and study subject having a right that they must be participate in a voluntary participation, and must be compliant with the protocols, and must report any adverse event or essay if they facing throughout the study or during the study. So recently the So recently, our CDSCO issued the new guidelines related to clinical trial, that is a new drug clinical trial rule 2009. So this is a chart which summarizes the NDCT rule related to the drug and submission, conduction of clinical trial of new drugs. So for that, we have to take a permission on CT06 by submitting document on CT04. So probably in 90 working days, review committee taking time and provide you approval. In case of drug discovery in India, they will provide the approval or query or their opinion within 13 working days. So for all their phytochemistry and academic toxicity studies, these sections is be applicable for all drugs which is more than the 4 year old or market in India, not required any approval from the CDSCO, but ethics committee approval is required. When we are talking about the phytopharmaceutical, the pharmaceutical which is be isolated from the plant origin, must they will be conducted as a applicable rule and guidelines of NDCT rules. So we can the every pharmaceutical will be considered as a new drug, and NDCT rule is applicable. And we are when we are talking about the clinical trial on academic studies, they can be conducted as per the EC approval only, so no CDSCO approval is required. But when they think that they having some commercial interest of any sponsor, they can be report this conduct of study to the CDSCO and wait for 30 days. If no observation, no queries be received, they can initiate the study. Also, in NDCT rule, there is separate section related to the uh, biomedical research and BABA studies, import of results. Though lots of things is very well drafted in NDCT rule and applied. So this is all about the regulation. So apart out of this, I just give a small brief up about the clinical study and their classification. So all clinical research is based on the clinical study, and broadly they are classified in two sectors. One is the observational study, second is the experimental or interventional. So when we are talking of observational, they are the descriptive study, analytical study based on the analytically based on the ecology, cross-sectional, case control, and cohort studies. So when we are talking of the interventional study or experimental study where the drug or device is be intervened to the human body in the form of tablet or device, then it is be considered as an interventional studies. And they must be interventional trial, maybe the randomized control trial, field trial, or community trials. So on this type of studies will be conducted. When we are talking about the cohort studies are those studies where the group of subjects is followed over a time, or we are collecting the data at different time intervals. Our purpose of cohort study is to define the incident of investigating the potential cause of condition. It may be prospective or retrospective. Prospective studies are those studies where we take a consent and give the intervention in the form of drug, device, or apply the device or apply the drug. Then we collecting the data related to safety and efficacy or other parameter that is under the investigation. And retrospective studies are those studies where the studies was be conducted as per the uh, data already available. So we can say the treatment is already done. So we are collecting only data from the patient file, which is be available in a hospital or clinician, and analyzing and then draft a report in the form of uh, their safety and efficacy observations. Second is a cross-sectional study where the similar cohort type of study except the all measurements are made at one time point without no gap. So we can say the if we are cross-sectional studies, we are comparing the two different studies, and one will be one time it is treated with the reference product, one time it is treated with the test product, and then data will be collected. These are the different phases of clinical
Uh,
trial. That is,
Dr. Neeraj,
yes.
actually this is the for the YouTube uploading. So our video is making very lengthy. So can you summarize your all content within a few minutes?
Yeah, we are completing in next 2 minutes. So these are the different that we already discussed. Preclinical study where the in vitro in vivo data is be covered in one study where generally 40 to 50 participants be study, and prior to phase one there is a phase zero is also applicable, but phase zero is not give us the information about the safety and efficacy, so it is not be considered as a trial. That is only for the pharmacokinetic, in which we calculate the drug absorption, distribution, etc. In phase 2, we are performing the efficacy and safety study, generally in 200 to 400 patients. If there is a favorable study, we go for the phase 3 study. Phase 3 study may be randomized or control comparison, open label or blinded on the large number of population. If they are having the promising result, then the submission is going to the state or your FDA. They are reviewing the safety and efficacy and providing the approval for marketing, and after that drug is be marketed. And if they want, they can perform or issue the relation to perform the phase 4 study collecting more safety data, and phase 4 study will be conducted. So a part of this, they can be performed single center. If the clinical research center occur in single center, it's considered a single center study. If the research is performed in the various institutional site, then it is considered as a multi-centric. So advantage of multi-centric is that we have complete the study in faster way, and broad number of patient be enrolled in the study, and broad number data is released. But be sure during the conduct of study, we have compliance with the ethical requirement, which provide the respect to the person, benefit the participant, and justify it to the participants. When we are talking about justify, it is an equal distribution of burden and benefit. We can the risk to the patient and benefit may be aligned with this. This is all related to the clinical research. So in Indian guidelines, we have a well-defined, strong ethical guidelines related to clinical research. So they can say that they have an ethics committee who can review the protocol and provide the approval and regularly monitor the compliance of regulatory requirements or ethical requirement at the site can be constituted in the institution as an institutional ethics committee or independent where the institution is not a part of them. They must be independent. So as per the NDCT rules, they have issued the guidelines the how to constitute the ethics committee. Generally, one chairperson be preferably considered out of the institution so the unbiased opinion can be provided, and one two basic medical scientists to provide the opinion over the basic medical background, clinician related to the clinics, one is a legal expert and social scientist and philosopher or atheist, and one maybe from the community, or one important member that is a member secretary must be from the institutions. So a part of this, when we are constituting the ethics committee, we are cons- consider that one lay person must be there, one woman member must be there, and one legal person must be there, and there is a mix of the person. 50% from the institution and 50% from outside the institution must be there, and total 7 members is there. So these these are the already established in NDCT rule guidelines which we have to follow. So ethics committee will be involved. Also, pharmacy can participate in a ethics committee in the at the level of chairperson, at the level of member secretary. Their main role is to review and approve the protocol and be sure appropriate interval. They will be inspect the site and review the ongoing updates from the for the clinical trials, where or if any essay is there, so they can be evaluated on background of ethical concern, scientific background, and compliance with local and regulatory, and provide their opinion to the central licensing authorities. So provide the competent authorities. And for this is last slide where that when we are participating in a clinical trial, which is a very growing field, so we must be complying with GCP. So, so everyone who is be participating clear, they must be trained on the GCP, and if they are the on the top position, they will be organized a periodic training related to the GCP to their stakeholder, their company member, or their staff teams. Also having well good quality control generation document and data logs and source notes, document all activity, liability and clarity, and QA department or person from the QA can inspect the all key steps and audit the data and achieve all documents. This is all about this. Thank you so much. So now I am open if anyone having the question.
Thank you, Dr. Neeraj, for this wonderful presentation and sharing your experience. I would like to say this is your 15 or 16 year of the combined experience in the clinical research, which you share in the presentation. So,
Thank
although
you.
you have clear all the doubt, but from the point of view of the students, I would like to ask one question
Yes,
with
please.
the permission of the director, sir. Although we are running short of time. Sir, see, nowadays the
Yes.
company are recruiting, means specifically the CROs from the B Pharma and N Pharma, but they are looking for a certain kind of the certificate course in the clinical research. So, being a CRO head or the manager, do you really think this extra course is required by the, I mean, so this is very essential by the students, or our M-Farm or the B-Farm syllabus is insufficient to provide all the information to all those students who are willing to join the CRO?
Yeah, very good questions, and I expecting this question from your side because you are from the pharma background. So I expecting this question can be comes. So as I already mentioned in my slide, there is a most common word is a GCP, good clinical practice is there. Although the pharmacy students are complying with the pharmacology, they having a very good knowledge of pharmacology, also the having very good knowledge of medicine, formulation development, and how the ADMA aim is. But right now we have a lacking of the GCP, that is a good clinical practice. That portion is not covered. So it is not be essential that the person must be qualified with the GCP, but they definitely give the advantage to them, because in my last slides is clearly indicate when the person will be participating any clinical research, any aspect, either as a investigator, as a nurse, or as a CRC or a pharmacy, they must be GCP qualified, and their training must be updated every year on the basis. So all CRO will provide the GCP training for their in-house employees. They can be trained there, but yes, they having the advantage if they are GCP qualified. During the interview, if the any question is coming related to the GCP, they can answer. So always it's a beneficial that you have a GCP qualified certificate course with you, so that you can answer the question which will arise in between.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Means
you.
now this is clear for that specific certification. This is extra training is very, very essential. Thank you very much, sir, once again for sharing your experience and view on this clinical research regulations.
Thank
I
you.
would like to request our director, sir, Dr. G.D. Gupta. Sir, please conclude the session.
So thank you very much, Dr. Neeraj ji. You have given very precise and important information, and I hope that it will be very, very useful to each and everybody. And you have already mentioned this is the pharma institution, so both we are the using the animal study as well as we also need some protocol on the human being related to the PharmD program. So in the coming future, our team will connect to you and how we
Sure, sure.
can more and effective and useful work for the society. So thank you very much, and once again welcome and thankful to the all of the IQAC team for provide this opportunity to interact such types of the person. Thankful to coordinator Dr. Nitinji for inviting me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Neeraj.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Nitin. Thank you, Dr. Gupta, and all faculty member of ISF College of Pharmacy Moga who provide me opportunity to interacting with you. Thank you, sir.